You've reached the SeaBank Chronicles, a natural sound theater transporting you through the living science of Southeast Alaska. Produced by the Alaska Sustainable Fisheries Trust. This is Beth, your radio operator. We live in extraordinary times where science and mystery meet in a swiftly changing world. To enter the SeaBank Chronicles, just keep listening. Logbook 1, Transmission 5, Water World. By now, you've probably found a photograph among your recent supply delivery. It's a glimpse of the powerful link between terrestrial and oceanic environments alive in the SeaBank. A reminder that in this bank, in and of the sea, dividends like jobs in commercial fishing and subsistence seafood harvesting are sustained not just by the ocean, but by mountains and forests too. In summer, glacial melt replenishes rivers and streams, transporting precipitation and sediments through the forest and across the coastal boundary. The photograph of a mineral-rich glacial plume in your hands, gray-green braids of icy water pooling into the sea, is breathtaking evidence. The relationship between glacial plumes and the marine food web is just one of the mysteries in the Gulf of Alaska. Perhaps the biggest is why the Gulf yields such tremendous biological productivity. Its waters are globally famous for supporting a robust complex of plankton, crustaceans and fish like salmon, halibut, and blackcod, seabirds, whales, and other marine mammals like otters, seals, and sea lions. Scientists have some guesses about why the Gulf of Alaska is so productive. Besides glacial plumes that deliver minerals, frequent storms sweep through the region, ushering nutrients from the deepest seafloor to the phototrophic realm, where plankton blooms jumpstart the marine food web. One thing scientists know for certain is that human beings affect productivity in the Gulf of Alaska too. Living things are always shaping their environment, but the human species has an enormous influence on ecosystems because of our ability to use technology like fishing gear. Subsistence and small boat commercial fishermen are known to be dedicated stewards of SeaBank resources. They understand that fishing sustainably, harvesting only a small, scientifically allotted portion of the biomass, is key to maintaining a healthy resource. But they're not the only fishing boats in the sea. Data shows that large fishing operations using industrial gear like trawl nets are depleting fish stocks. While trawlers have quota limits on target species like pollock, other species become ensnared in trawl gear too. These incidentally caught species, known as bycatch, include halibut, blackcod, crab, and king and chum salmon. Industrial trawling prevents huge numbers of king and chum salmon from reaching interior river systems where subsistence fishermen, particularly Indigenous Alaskans in places like the Yukon, depend on yearly harvests. The number of king salmon taken as bycatch, most thrown overboard after being dragged from the sea and killed by trawl nets, is staggering. Nearly 500,000 in the last 25 years, leaving Alaskans to face food insecurity and a blow to the heart of cultural traditions. Trawling also depletes the livelihoods of small boat commercial fishermen. When high-value species like salmon, black cod, and halibut are overfished by trawlers, the allotment for small boats decreases, along with a significant portion of yearly income. Unlike small boat fisheries, which rely on shallow nets, hooks, or pots to catch a single species, industrial trawling drags heavy gear across the seafloor, scooping up everything in its path and destroying sensitive habitat. Corals, sponges, sea stars, shrimp, and tube worms, essential to the marine food web, are crushed or displaced. In the 21st century alone, trawl nets have scoured 25% of Alaska's fragile seafloor. It looks like we're losing signal. Before we end this transmission, you should know that trawling also hastens climate change by stirring up seafloor sediments where storehouses of ancient carbon from long ago sea creatures are sequestered. When trawl nets plow through this deep ooze, carbon dioxide is released into the sea and then the atmosphere. Visit the alaskatrust.org/podcast to see a photo of a glacial plume spreading through coastal waters near Yakutat and a graphic of how trawling vessels destroy the seafloor. Stay tuned for future transmissions of the SeaBank Chronicles, where you'll hear from citizens working to protect food security, culture, and small boat fisheries in Southeast Alaska. Gunish Chish to the Tlingit, Haida, and Tsimshian people for stewarding these lands and waters since a time beyond human memory, and for sharing them with all who make the SeaBank home. When in doubt, keep listening to the places where science and mystery meet.